Let's talk to Meerkat because I think that's funny. Meerkat, you're live with Eric and V. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm just curious. Hey, let me just get right to it.
Sure.
I'm somebody, I'm a theist that goes out and tries to convince atheists to obviously become Christian, you know?
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it's like, I get so many of them who say no, you know, to that. But yeah, they just want me to convince them anyways that my God exists. So my question is, if an atheist doesn't want to become a Christian, they don't want to accept the truth of salvation, whatever, why should I even bother convincing them that my God exists? I just can't.
Sure. So I think so what you're carrying in there, they're not accepting the truth. You have to admit is a pretty condescending assumption. I mean, I could say it the other way around, right? You as a Christian are refusing to and not willing to accept the truth that your God does not exist. So it's not even worth my time to explain to you that your God is pointless and untrue. It kind of feels bad right in the chest area, doesn't it?
Yeah, you take that part out, and I just want you to answer that question specifically. Sorry about that. And
yeah. No, I think I see where you're coming from. On the one hand, I have two answers to this. The first one is don't bother. Fuck it, leave.
Yeah.
You're not obligated to have conversations you don't want to have. If you don't want to, convince somebody or anything, fine. Absolutely fine. You do not need to do that.
If you believe in the Great Commission, you do.
Exactly. Like that's the caveat there. I know that when I was growing up, my dad felt physically ill if he did not pray for every single car that passed him on the side of the road. Every single car. Like if he didn't pray for that person in that car, he was going to hell and he had failed that other person. So it's a horrible weight to put on your own shoulders. But coming from a purely secular standpoint, if you don't want to have a conversation, you don't need to have a conversation. Nobody can make you. You get out of there. You walk away, you be respectful, you say, you do you, I'm going to do me over here. So that's the first answer. Do we want to talk about that at all or move into the second part?
Yeah, here's the thing, though, but they make it seem like I am obligated anyways. They go about it as if I am. I'm supposed to. I have the burden of proof, so you got to do this. And I try to explain to them, no, I'm as a Christian, I'm only obligated to have the burden of proof to convince you by default unless you want to be a Christian.
Well, hold on. May I ask? Let's say they say... Let's say they go, hey, Meerkat, you have the burden of proof. It's up to you to convince me of your claim. Do you care? Because if you want to win online arguments, then you need to interact. But if you don't care about online arguments, then it shouldn't even matter.
You said arguments? I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't pick up what.
No worries, I might have dropped out. Let me try that again. If you want to win online arguments, you need to interact. That's why. If you don't care about it, then it shouldn't matter. I'll give you an example, right? There's a troll who has been skulking around our YouTube comments section who likes to say, Eric and V, you don't have the guts to come into the comments to debate me. Right. And the thing is, we make ourselves incredibly available. We have a phone number that you can call us on. We are not obligated to meet people on, different platforms. We make ourselves available to talk about these things where we make ourselves available to. If they, are going to troll around in the comments because they don't want to call in, that's their prerogative. I really don't care. I sleep perfectly well at night knowing that person is just going to sit there screaming into the void.
Well, yeah, but if somebody, makes a false accusation about you, obviously you can't help but to say something, right? So that's where
it's actually a cultivated skill. Like at first, you really want to say stuff. When I first got onto these shows and was like seeing people talk about me in the comments the first time, I was like, oh, I need to respond to this. They're wrong. After a while, you realize people are going to think about you whatever they think about you. And you are not obligated to abide by those conceptions or even give them the time of day. Now, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think you're talking about online arguments. I think you're talking about you go over to somebody and you start evangelizing to them, telling them about your God. They then come back to you and say, well, you have the burden of proof, therefore prove it. Is that more the situation you're talking about here?
Yeah, like I'll ask them, if I can prove Christianity to them, would you become a Christian? The answer is usually no. But
you give up right there, because if they say no, then you respect that no and you move on.
Yeah, they're closed off to talking.
And that's fine. Just like if I came up to you and was like, if I disproved that, whatever foundational belief you had was true, would you stop being a Christian or a theist or, whichever form of religious person you are? If you said no, I would be remiss to continue to go at you and be upset that you didn't get convinced by me. I would have to walk away. That's the respectful thing to do. But if I come up to you and I'm the one starting the conversation and I'm the one bringing an idea to the table, the idea of God or of no God, then I need to be ready to back that up. And I can't be offended if someone asks me questions or asks me to prove it.
Right. That's what I said to them. But if I make a claim, then yeah, automatically I have the burden of proof. But if I'm asking them if they want to, if I want to have the same belief about that claim, then no, I don't. So yeah, that's great that you acknowledge that claims and beliefs or trying to convince people of something are two different things. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll just say this to end it. Hello?
Yeah,
go for it, man.
Okay, so sure. Just to end it to get the other callers is, and this is not preaching. I'm just inviting anyone.
Are you good? We might need to let you go.
This isn't a platform for people to do that. That's okay though.
Appreciate it. I know you feel compelled to respect that. We're gonna let you go so you don't have to feel bad about it. Whoops, you dropped. God can't blame you if we dropped you.
Yeah. So just for people who are wondering, it appeared to us like he was going to promote his own platform, and we're not obligated to platform people.
Or he was gonna preach, which also we're not obligated to do here. Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit before we get to these last callers about the Great Commission and kind of what that is, because we touched on that and then we moved by it really quick. And I don't think everybody knows what that is.
Yeah.
So the Great Commission is this concept that is very prevalent in evangelical churches specifically. So probably not more mainline Protestant churches like Lutheran, Methodist, all of that. This is more non-denominational Baptist, born again Christian type of religious person that feel like it is their duty to save as many people as possible at all times. And if you see someone on the street, you need to go up to them and tell them about God, or else you are leaving that person to go to hell. You are basically failing somebody and damning them to eternal torment if you do not go up to them and engage them in this conversation. If you do not pray for every person that walks by you. These are hyperbolic, but I know people. My own dad was like this.
You have Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, this is incredibly annoying for everybody else. Just very annoying. But B, also extremely hard on you. As a person who believes that the weight of every single person you see's soul is up to you to bear, that is horrible. That is a horrible amount of pressure to put on a person and a horrible amount of guilt, because you're never going to actually be able to talk with everybody you want to, in which case we very nicely let the last caller go before he could say anything, so he could then say, well, they dropped me. I was going to say it, but they dropped me. It wasn't my fault. I didn't back down. So hopefully there's a little less guilt for Meercat there. But yeah, Great Commission, basically a giant guilt trip.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
For sure.